everybody, and welcome back to another Sims 4 video here on my channel. Today we are going back to Oasis Springs, and I'm actually trying to realistically renovate this residential lot called Nookstone. Here's what the outside of the house looks like when you first load up into the game, and also here's the floor plan we are working with and how bare the house comes when you first load into it. So here's the outside. Like I said, there isn't much to it. I don't like how the roof over top of the kitchen windows is wood paneling, while the kitchen section is more like that stone siding. This is one thing that I wanted to fix on the actual house when I'm renovating, but I am keeping the roof and pretty much everything else about this house very similar to how it looks originally. We mainly are changing the siding, windows, and also adding much better landscaping. When you first walk into the door, we have this kitchen area to the left of the door, along with a little dining section. It's very basic. There's also hardly any cabinets at all. To flip this house, I'm going to challenge myself and keep everything in its relative location. For example, the stove, the sink, and also the fridge will hardly move, if not at all. I do put more space in between the stove and the sink because I honestly cannot stand them being right next to each other in real life or even on this game. Then to the right of the door, you will see this little cutaway section for the living room. We will get closer, but straight ahead, you also see this little back door that leads to the small outside patio out back. I do change that out for a bigger and better door. I just wanted to open up this space entirely. Here's the little living room. Right now, it is very bare. We do keep this living room layout very similar to how it is currently. We also keep the bathroom door leading into the living room. Technically, I know that we can relocate the door to another wall, but I don't want to do that for this build when it comes to just the bathroom. Going into this bathroom though, this is what we are working with. And also the layout stays very similar in here, pretty much exactly like it is. We are basically just updating it. That's it. Oh, and also I have something to say. Who is reaching that toilet paper? And also, why is it so high up on the wall? Here's another angle just to show the shower. Moving into the last room, the bedroom, we do have just a plain Jane bedroom. Our biggest thing in this room is putting up a wall to separate it from the rest of the house. Out back, since this is pretty much the edge of the lot, we aren't doing too much out here, mainly just fixing this roof situation. Moving into this renovation, the main thing I'm doing is trying to keep the outside looking very similar to the original house. I did raise this house. I know in real life you can raise homes, but it's very hard and also expensive. I forgot totally that I was trying to do this challenge for a hot second, and I raised it up, but I only did it once. Otherwise, I added a little front porch outside the front door with dark stone. Since the new updates, we have more color options on certain floors. I was leaning towards a more modern and dark theme. The inside maybe isn't too much on that modern point, but I do feel like the outside is more dark mid-century. Like I said, I hated the section of the roof that did not match, so I'm going to fix that. I did put rock siding on the right side of the house when you're looking at the front of it, and also dark wood paneling all along the left side. Going back to the roofs, I do not like how you cannot paint panel by panel like you could in The Sims 3. I do think The Sims 4 either needs to bring that back, or when it comes to Sims 5, because sometimes it's very frustrating to only be able to paint an entire roof instead of it in certain sections. Moving to the front door, I wanted a modern looking wood one. When switching out the windows, I also wanted to match the wood tones to the front door. I personally like big open windows, and I know in real life it's sometimes hard to make window casings bigger, but I wanted to have a different style windows in this build and also to liven it up on the inside. Here lately, I have been liking using the small base game rectangular windows for the kitchen areas in a lot of my builds. I like to place them high enough that the upper cabinets will actually sit underneath of them. I think it helps with natural lighting, but also so that the cabinets or appliances don't clip through them, because that is very annoying. With landscaping, I'm not doing too much. I'm branching out and also using a few items that I never use. The small daisies being one item, as well as a windblown grass. Moving into the house, I'm using the light timber planks for the flooring, and I'm also, because of the newest update, when Horse Ranch came out while I'm currently filming this, we can now paint ceilings, so I am also using that on our ceiling. In this bathroom, I'm just choosing some tile. I went through a bunch of options I had, and I'm trying to make all the rooms look more updated, but I'm also trying to keep the flow and the whole overall layout of this house the same to the original. Also on this build, I wanted the rock exterior to be used on the exterior walls for the interior, if that makes sense. I did use the lighter shade for the bathroom bedroom, but otherwise I do keep the same shade from the outside of the house for those walls inside the bedroom and also living room. I also knew for sure that I wanted wood paneling along with the rock walls. I love wood paneling and I don't have too many options for vertical ones, so I did end up choosing CC. For the main section of this house, I did choose a mix of vertical paneling with a little bit of plaster, but I honestly think this looks so good. In the kitchen, I'm switching out cabinets and appliances, but keeping their relative location. I end up switching the colors around in here because I couldn't make up my mind. I do swap the stove with where the sink was originally, and then I move the sink down just 2 cabinets. I just want to put some space in between them, and I go through and add little items like a trash can, a microwave, fire detector, you know, the main things. In the dining section, I didn't want a big table because of the single bedrooms, so I went with a small square table with 4 chairs. I'm adding my all-time favorite pendant light, which I do believe is from Tiny Living, and also a new hack I've been doing in all of my kitchens here recently is placing the base game wall lights underneath the cabinet. It gives the kitchen a little bit more lighting without having the ceiling so cluttered with pendant lights or even the walls, and also, unless you're at eye level with the cabinets, you're not necessarily going to see them during gameplay, which to me is a huge bonus. So that's a little tiny tip. I'm going through and adding just a little bit of clutter and also my go-to light switches and any outside lights for the porches. Coming into the living room, you already know that I'm going to use my favorite curtains that came in the Desert Luxe pack. These curtains are the best, absolute best, because they can be used on pretty much all windows and are somewhat modular for the most part. I wish I had a few more swatches, but at least they aren't super bulky like some of the base game ones and also heavily patterned. I didn't want too big of a couch in this section because there isn't a lot of space in this living room, so I did go with a chase and a 2-seater couch from my Dream Home Decorator pack, and I also made them red to add just a little bit more color. I feel like I hardly do that with these couches, but for some reason I just wanted a red couch. Of course, you already know if you see my videos, I'm matching all my wood tones for all the tables and side pieces, and I'm also adding a little bit of clutter onto the coffee table. Also, if you've seen any of my videos, you already know that I'm about to use some CC rugs. I'm not a big fan of EA rugs. Don't know if you know that or not, but now you do. There was one rug in particular that I did feel went so well with this red couch. The almost tan color made the couch stand out just a little bit more to me and also brought a little bit more warmth into the living room. And overall, I love that about living rooms when they're more warm and cozy instead of cold and bare and minimalistic. And then we are completing this whole entire living room with a little bit of clutter, some photos, and of course some plants. In this bathroom, I was going to keep just a stand-up shower, but instead I placed a shower tub combo. Realistically, you could keep the shower head and drain in the same place, but since it's The Sims, you can only enter the tub on one side, which is annoying to be honest. So we're just going to pretend that it's on the same wall. After switching out the toilet, I'd made sure to put the toilet paper at a reasonable height. And here lately, I've been putting a lot of wall sconces in my bathrooms. I just feel like they fit so well in every single bathroom. In the bedroom, I am starting with curtains so I know how much to move the furniture away from the walls. That way it's not clipping into any of the curtains when I go and place them. I keep changing my mind a lot during this room, so the color scheme changes a lot. I went from a blue to an orangey yellow, and then I think I finished on a green. I'm finally getting to use these end tables I downloaded. They're of course custom content, but I just downloaded a bunch of CC and haven't got to use anything yet. I also found this mid-century dresser on Patreon, do you believe? And this is my all-time favorite favorite dresser, or one of them at least, especially for this build. I feel like it just fits in so well, especially with that base game mirror above it. I'm just adding the typical clutter where I can, a rug, and also my new favorite photos. These photos can be found on Dino Baby's Patreon, and they are also Christian artwork. I did add a desk next to the dresser before adding a bookcase to the wall in between the living room and the bedroom. I didn't feel like there was enough space in that bedroom for a bookcase in particular, and I honestly felt like a wall one looked better for some reason in this build, and I figured in between the living room and the bedroom it fit so well on that empty wall. And here we have the final look at our house renovation. Here is the before. This is what the house looked like in the very beginning. You can see how the roof didn't fully match the siding. It's honestly kind of bare, not a lot of landscaping, just very dull in my opinion. It was very much time for a lovely upgrade. And here is the after. We brought a lot of landscaping in, as much as I felt was necessary since there wasn't much lot to work with, and the house was taking up the majority of the land. I do think the style looks so much better, and especially with the bigger and more open windows. Let's go ahead and hop in the front door and see what the house looks like on the inside. When looking at the front door from the inside, we now have a wall to our left to close off that bedroom. When you first walked into the store, this is what you see with the widest angle possible. I love this. I think this looks so much better. Looking at the kitchen, everything is pretty much in the same location. You do have everything you need, enough cabinets, counter space, and you also have this nice little dining section with the big windows. This is a quick little peek outside. There isn't much I changed out here, and I also didn't add anything back here except relocating the trash can from the front of the house to the back of the house. I love that I switched the small back door for this big folding door. I honestly think this fits so perfectly on this wall. And if you look towards the living room while standing at the front door, you will see this nice living room instead of that plain Jane, boring, small, empty living room that was there before. When you first walk into the living room, you now have these nice big windows, a beautiful couch in my opinion, and nice furniture to go with your artwork and the rug. And also here's another little angle of the living room. We kept the bathroom door the same but changed the swatch and duplicated it for that bedroom wall as well. Speaking of the bathroom, when you first come in, now we have this nice bathtub with a shower inside instead of just the stand-up shower that took up a big portion of that corner next to the door. And then here at this angle with the sink and the toilet, you thankfully can now reach your toilet paper, which is a big bonus in my opinion. Coming into the bedroom, the last room to go over on this build, I absolutely love this room. I love the rock wall with the wood paneling, even though it's not necessarily wood but like a painted wood, and I love that we can now paint the ceilings, and the wood that I used for them, in my opinion, I think it matches so well. And of course, that dresser, I love the clutter on top of it. Everything in this room just looks so good to me. Here's the last angle and also a better example of those photos from Dino Baby. That is everything for my realistic remodel of the residential home called Nookstone out in Oasis Springs. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and thank you all so much for watching. I have plenty of other videos here on my channel if you want to click back on any of them. I have done a couple apartment remodelings and also created some new builds from scratch, so go ahead and check those out if you want. Otherwise, stay tuned for any upcoming videos, and God bless!